Alright guys, so here are the headlights for the 2003 to 2023 Chevy Express van or the GMC Savanna. As you can see, they all come with some wrapping paper or some protective film. So you can see the quality build. I mean, for 160 bucks, I mean, it's kind of to be expected. So you can see here, there's like silicone that was blocked off to prevent water from getting in them. The connector there also has some kind of RTV silicone. And these do come with a, looks like to be an inline resistor for the DRL or turn signal. That's how these come. You can see I got the clears with clear corners, and if you can see, I think these are all the same because this is the U-bar, but as you can see in the middle there's a piece of plastic there where if it was an F or an E, it's there. So I'm pretty sure these are all the same thing, they just changed out the trims. These are the turn signal lamps. You do not have any more holes for the turn signal bulbs, so this completely replaces that. You just have the side marker light here. Moving on to the headlights. Headlights also come with protective film on top. Let's take this guy off. These look very similar to the OEM headlights. The plastic is pretty sturdy, polycarbonate, just like the OEM sets that I've seen on Amazon. You can see some of the residue glue there sticking out. Looks like they used butyl. So these are butyl sealed. These are easily openable and resealable. And on the back side of it, they do not come with bulbs. And then you have this one little lead here for the DRL. But very similar to OEM. As you guys can see, I'm having issues on mine just because mine after 5 years are finally falling apart. They're broken and my ballasts are finally wore out along with the bulbs. These are a set of quad bi-xenon projectors. And these are the really sought after clears that so many people love to have. And here you can see one headlight is just going a little crazy just because the bulbs are going out. Alright, first things first is you need to get your door open. And then there should be a little tab here. You pull on it. That will open your hood. And open up your hood. And here in the center, there's a lever. You push up. I was talking about. You pop up your hood prop. Tools and supplies needed: flathead screwdriver, 1/4-inch ratchet and 10mm, wire strippers, crimper and cutters, heat shrink, spade connectors and electric grease, a small torch or lighter. To remove the headlights, first start off by removing the two 10mm bolts at the top with a 1/4-inch ratchet. Once completely loosened, put those to the side and don't lose them. Now remove the headlight by wiggling and pulling to the side. Pull the headlights out, you will need to disconnect the light bulbs. The black connector is the high beam, pull the tabs up and pull. Now the gray connector is the low beam, and make sure you do the same thing. Pull on the tab up and pull. Moving on to the turn signal housings, there will be a tab on the side here. Grab your flathead screwdriver and put it in the gap. Here you can see the small gap. Grab your screwdriver, push forward and pry, and the lens should pop out. Here you can see the tab pop out, and now the housing is completely loose. Once it pops out, make sure you grab it, disconnect both connectors, the side marker bulb and the turn signal bulb. Now you repeat for the other side. Alright guys, so for the install for the headlight piece first, as you guys can see, there's these two little legs here. Those will line up right there, and there's another one over here that the harness is kind of hiding in this area. What you're going to do is you're going to put these on those holes, those slots, and then you're going to slide in, put those legs on the slots, and then you're going to go this way, and these will line up with the top two bolts at the top. Make sure you, before you do the install, is put your LED bulbs in, or halogen bulbs, whatever you decide to use. So going back in, you're going to connect your LED bulbs or halogen bulbs. Remember, the black connector is the high beam, the gray connector is the low beam. Don't forget about the white and black wire. You got to run that through the bottom, and it's going to come out through the turn signal area. Put the legs in the slot, and then the top will line up just like so. Hand start the bolts, and after you get them started, go ahead and grab your ratchet and start tightening them down. Pull the black and white wire through the turn signal area like so. Alright guys, so I found a flaw that I don't like while doing the install. So this is the resistor wire that plugs up to the turn signal assembly, which is right there. It connects here with a small 3-pin into it. So this is already a point where this is not waterproof. It's going to be exposed in there. Second point is there's this little board that controls the switchback animation, or should I say switchback function of the board. And then you have the resistor with a connector that is like the turn signal style, but it is also exposed. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cover this up with 3-to-1 heat shrink, and I have that here. I'll cut this in half and then hit it with the torch to cover up and make it more waterproof. Alright, so now that I got the piece of heat shrink cut in half, the harness that I came with, as such, slip it over, slide it through, and then cover this guy up right here. So one thing I like about 3-to-1 heat shrink is inside it has an adhesive, and you can see it right there, it's spewing out, so that pretty much seals it tight. So you waterproof that. Now on this end also, I will be putting a small piece of heat shrink once it's connected to the turn signal assembly, which is over there. Alright guys, so here's where it gets fun. I'm stripping back the sheathing on the turn signal pigtail, and I'm cutting and stripping a brown wire. Once you strip those open exposed, you can twist the ends together. After that one's stripped, we go on to the black one, and you cut and strip the ends of that one and twist that one together. Now take the female spade connector, slip it in, and get ready to crimp it. Now grab your terminal crimper and crimp it down. Same goes for the negative or the black wire. Slip over the connector and grab your crimper and crimp that one down. Once you have that done, grab your pigtail from your turn signal, grab the white wire, and connect it and twist together with the white wire from the headlight. Grab a male spade connector and get ready to crimp these two white wires together. Now grab the male spade connector with the white wires and connect them to the female spade connector connected to the brown wires. The brown wire is your DRL signal. Now grab the black wire from the headlight and the black wire from the turn signal pigtail, twist those two together and put a male spade connector there to connect to the black wire on the car's harness. Now remove the turn signal bulb. I had an LED switchback. Take that off and get ready to put some dielectric grease in there to prevent corrosion inside the socket. Now grab the turn signal pigtail and connect the aftermarket connector to the turn signal socket. Moving on to the resistor. Do not put this on plastic, this gets hot and it will melt it no matter what, so make sure you peel off the 3M tape and mount it to metal. Now grab your turn signal housing, and here we will waterproof the 3-pin connector. What I did is I slipped over some 3-to-1 heat shrink just to heat up and slip over after it's connected. Now grab the dielectric grease and squeeze some into the connector. Now connect the connectors after that. There's only one way it can go, so there's no way to mess this up. Slip over that extra piece of heat shrink over that connector and start to heat it up to heat shrink over it. This will prevent water from going into it. Now let's do a quick mock-up to check if everything's working correctly. Turn on the truck. DRL's working just fine as it should. Now to hit the turn signal. And now everything's working perfectly fine. In the event that the turn signal is still not working, make sure you flip that connector that has a 2-pin for the turn signal. After everything's good, go ahead and snap it in place just as you saw here. Now here are the headlights fully installed and fully functional. Hazards are all working. Overall, the fitment of the headlights and the turn signal assemblies was good. Repeat the same steps for the driver's side. I took the time to check wiring diagrams for GMC and Chevy from 03 to 2023. All the vans use brown wires for DRL and daytime running lights. The black is for the ground at the turn signal sockets. Here's a wiring diagram from 2013 to 2023 vans. Now let's take a look at the light output. Alright guys, so this is outside about 9 p.m. on the low beam setting. And this is the high beam setting. Now here's a view from the front of the van with just the DRLs on. You can see how bright they are, and here I'll get closer and show you up close. With just the DRLs on, this is what you see on the ground. It only projects about maybe 3 feet in front of you, and that's about it. Moving on to the turn signals, and these are switchback, and you can see how bright they are. In this first clip, I'll be driving through regular streets with street lights on. My headlights, keep in mind, have LED bulbs in there, which I honestly do not recommend with halogen housings. As you can see in the video, with LED bulbs in a halogen housing, it just throws a light everywhere and kind of spreads it. And as you can see, it's not very focused except for the middle, where in reality, it's not that bright. In this clip, I'll be going through a street with no street lights so you can see the light output of the headlights. An update 2 weeks later. We had rain for a week straight, and as you guys can see, there's no standing water inside the headlights. Every morning, the headlights did not have any fog or condensation build up inside. As you guys saw in the nighttime driving video, the light output's not that great, so out of a 10, I give it a 6.
But for bringing the van to 2023, aesthetic wise, I give these about an 8.